All right, my friends, welcome back. So we just took a look at in the previous episode of our first Hello World program using mate code and the block-based coding. That's probably where a lot of you are going to be starting, and it's a wonderful opportunity to do that. Some of you are also interested in Python, so especially as computer science is starting to take hold in more states and curriculum and standards, and start to think about kids and just moving and transitioning from blocks into actual text-based coding. Python is a wonderful opportunity. So what we're going to do here is it's also showcased in the book as well is we're going to use a micro Python editor called Moo. And so if you go to codewithmoo.com, and I have that right here, and I'll have it down in the show notes as well for you to click on, you're going to go ahead and download this software. You'll just follow along whether you're a Windows or if you are Mac. So you hit the green download button, and it's just going to ask you to go ahead and do that. If you're a Windows installer, make sure you do the 64-bit, and then everything else is all right here, whether you're using Raspberry on a Raspberry Pi or the Mac, whatever it might be, you're going to go ahead and get that downloaded. And when you do so, the editor is going to look like this. So let me go ahead and make sure that's on the screen here for you, and it is. Okay. So what we want to do here now with the editor is, I'm going to go ahead and just expand this up so it's full screen. There we go. Is take a look at getting started. So the first thing is if you're new to it, it's going to ask you just through a default of what mode you're in, but you can always change this. So like for me, the more you use this, if I'm using CircuitPython or if I'm using Pygame or just regular Python to do some tutorials, or the microbit. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the microbit application, and that just allows us to have the code libraries already kind of built in to communicate with the microbit. And so once we have that, we're going to go ahead and just write some code here. And so the first thing we're going to do is type in from microbit. Let me change this theme here because you can't see. There we go. There we go. Let's clean that up here. From microbit, we're going to import. And you're going to see, notice how as I'm typing, how it's starting to add, it's starting to figure out what I'm going to read. It's kind of like Smart Compose, right, from if you use like Google or any sort of Microsoft tools. When I do that, next thing I want to do is I just want to display, okay, and I'm going to do scroll. And what this code does is it means the text is going to scroll across. And you can see this here. I got lots of different ways, and it gives me some clues of how I want to do this, of what goes in the brackets, the string itself of what I want to write, how long I want it to go, the weight, all these types of different details. And if you're not real fluent in Python, it's okay. The more you do this and dive in, the more these things are going to start to make sense for you. But for now, we're just going to tell you to do the hello world. And so what we're doing here, when we put the things in parentheses, our text in parentheses, we're telling the code, we're telling Python, or in this case the microbit, that we're not actually writing code. This is actually the string that we want to be able to use. This from microbit import is what this is allowing us to do, is just making it compatible. It's going to kind of basically bring in a lot of libraries and software and stuff for us to automatically use, and away we go. So now, if we want, we could go ahead and plug this in. We can go here to this repel. And what this does, this is, as you can see in the book, but if you don't have the book, repel is a read, evaluate, print loop. It's common in a lot of these coding tools allow us to do. It's basically a command line interface, allowing us to make this stuff happen just naturally. And so in order to make this happen, what we're going to do in here is we're going to go ahead and make this work. And so what we're going to do is we're going to hit flash here, and then we should be in good shape. Now, the book talks about how you could put in an error if you wanted to. So I could go here, say I spelled scroll wrong. It's going to give us an error here when we go to run. I can flash this. What this flash is going to do, then it's going to run it, and as it's flashing it onto the microbit here, we're going to get an attribute error. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's going to give us a line error on our actual microbit. So it takes a long time for it to scroll, but you can see there that it's going to tell us that there's something's not working. It's not working properly. So if I were to go and add this L back, okay, make it right, and I hit this flash again, I should be in good shape. Now it's going to go back to hello world. So we have that. That just allows you to see those things and see. I could go and open up this Rappel and I can see these issues down here. See if I go to this L and try this again here when it's done. I'm going to get an error here in just a minute. And there it is. You can see I'm getting the error. It's telling me line 3, so I know that I've got an issue there. So if I were to go here and change this code, make that a scroll, I can flash this right to the microbit, and now I can see that we're in good shape as it's going to go ahead and run this code. So now that we have just those basics, I'm going to break this up. We're going to get into this a little bit more, adding some graphics. But for now, I just want you to be able to see how you can get the Hello World working in Python using Moo. And so go ahead and just try this simple code out, see if you can get it to work, and then we'll get into some other coding things, adding some graphics as the book talks about, and then we can talk about next some variables and different things and how that looks both in Python and in MakeCode. All right, my friends, stay awesome.